You've probably already heard of a dopamine detox, the process of abstaining from activities which raise your dopamine levels in the brain to high levels. These activities include eating processed and junk food, using pornography, excessively using social media, watching Netflix, minimal physical activity, waking up late, playing video games, or anything else which you find addictive. These are all bad habits that most of us are guilty of. And in order to pull off a dopamine detox, you need to recognize the list of instant gratification activities such as these which you spend the most time doing. Perhaps you don't use pornography or consume excessive amounts of junk food, but you spend hours every day playing video games or watching internet videos. Or maybe it's the other way around. Or maybe every single thing which I listed here is a part of your life. Either way, it's a healthy decision to at least consider a dopamine detox. A dopamine detox involves rapidly reducing the consumption of instant gratification activities such as these. These are all instant gratification activities. To get the reward chemical in your brain, it takes virtually no effort or challenge. It's either a phone call or a web search, or just sitting there waiting for a scene which lights up your brain and hopefully you can find a way to relate to it. None of them involve challenge, stress, pressure, or discomfort to reward you. And the more you consume these things, the harder it's going to be to do the work you find challenging without getting distracted. Imagine two people. Person A wakes up at 2 p.m. and reaches for his phone. He checks Snapchat and spends the next half an hour in bed looking at Snapchat videos. He doesn't enjoy watching them, but he's so unpresent that he can't stop scrolling. He grabs his disposable vape and stays there. Then when he gets up, he goes to the fridge and grabs his Uber Eats leftovers. He spends the rest of the afternoon vaping, eating junk food, playing video games, and consuming X-rated material. Then it gets to 9 p.m. and he thinks he'll finally do some work. By 11 p.m. he's made the decision to open up the Word document and he lasts 5 minutes before he gets distracted. He can't even read the assignment without getting distracted. He's fried his brain with these instant gratification activities and now he can't even focus because his brain is preoccupied with the reward chemical it could be getting from other activities. Then we have person B. Person B went to bed at 11 p.m. and woke up at 8 a.m. When he woke up, he meditated, did his morning vitamin routine, drank plenty of water and had a shower. He didn't reach for his phone because he knows the most important time to focus on the day is in the morning. The morning is where you set the rest of the day up. When he came to do his work, he wasn't thinking about any of the distractions person A was, because they weren't fresh in his mind. So he was able to get on with his work. Not flawlessly, he's still human, but he still got on with it. Now, I'm not a scientist, but here's my experience with dopamine detoxing. I found that for beginners who indulge in the list of instant gratification activities, try and start by taking control of the morning. It's a lot harder to take control of your afternoon if the morning was a mess. Just make your first goal to have a less stimulated morning. So if you like, for a couple of weeks or however long you want, make your only new responsibility to wake up at a reasonable time and focus on work or activities you usually put off until a given time. So let's say you give yourself from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. to work on yourself. And for a while, you allow yourself to indulge in bad habits for the afternoon. Well, what you'll probably find with this is as you progress, you won't want to go and waste your afternoon. If you stay consistent with a well-structured morning, if you make this your goal, well, you're going to master it eventually. And you will find that because of the lifestyle changes you implemented in the morning consistently, you want to keep living this way into the afternoon. Then it becomes a pleasure to do the things which are good for you. Because look, the whole point of a dopamine detox is to reduce distractions and make productive activities in your life enjoyable. And that brings me on to another thing. If you're serious about this and you want to reduce instant gratification in your life and make way for delayed gratification, well, don't make the mistake of punishing yourself if you slip up. People get so hung up on, okay, I watched this video of this random guy I've never met and I'm going to take his word as gospel and I'm going to do exactly what he says, and if I slip up, I'm back at square one. I hate this way of thinking. Don't use this video or any other self-help video as a blueprint for what you need to do. It's just advice. We've never met, so how can I possibly give you perfect advice for yourself? There are too many people who watch self-help videos and make one mistake and throw the towel in because they deem themselves a failure. That's why I don't really like this community. It's not because I think what they're trying to abstain from is fine for you. Trust me, you don't want it to be a part of your life. But it's just this idea of streaks that they have, where you go a certain number of days abstaining from it and it's just so obsessive. I went down this route, and when your whole personality is just not consuming X-rated material, it makes it so much bloody harder to do. Instead, you take it on board and slowly replace it with other things. You don't keep a record of the days and depress yourself heavily every time you slip up, because the truth is you are going to slip up. This is the same for a dopamine detox. My advice to somebody who has never tried it is simple. Get used to a dopamine detox the morning before you set yourself the challenge of making the entire day a dopamine detox. If you're a beginner, you need to give yourself a window to slip up in. You will slip up, so don't ban all failing and pretend you can master this the next day, and then you fail to master it immediately so you give up. I have 2 jobs for you. Number 1, wake up at a reasonable time. You probably don't do this already, at least not on your own accord. You probably lie in whenever you get the chance. Well, get used to waking up early. Don't add 5 million other jobs to do, just start by making your first job to wake up early. And your second job is to spend the first 3 or 4 hours of your day abstaining from these activities. If you can't focus on your work, go for a walk. I wouldn't recommend music. I mean, the whole point of this is we want to become more present and aware. So listening to music is only going to help you fantasize more and live in a pretend world. But if you really can't make a couple of hours in the morning, you're certainly better off with music than any other instant gratification activity. But where possible, certainly avoid it. You could even throw in a morning timetable. Again, if you miss a slot, don't just panic and think it's over. I wouldn't make things too structured if you're a total beginner because it makes it a bit too intimidating. Just see where you go with it. You can manage 4 hours in the morning. I'd certainly recommend it.